This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome to Money Monday, and we have Foster Financial here giving us incredible advice that specifically help women. And joining me is their Vice President, Caleb Doan. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
Going good. Thank you. Okay, so top of the year, people make a lot of changes, and that may include changing their job or their occupation. And so today we're going to talk about advice for women who are switching their jobs. So what will you share today?
Yeah. So we'll talk about some of the kind of key things to consider when somebody is switching jobs, specifically relating to their finances. And what really spurred this on, I mean, one, we're at the top of the year, like you said, a lot of people are making changes.
Yeah.
And then I also saw a recent article that talked about how specifically within the past couple of years, women have outpaced men in switching roles, in switching jobs, switching careers, switching occupations. And so there's a lot of kind of shifting in the economy right now. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who have recently switched jobs too. And so there's just a lot of things to consider. And one of the biggest questions that we get is, what do I do with my 401k at my previous company? You know, you switch to a new job, you're typically enrolled in a new 401k. And so over time, if people have switched jobs over the past 20 years, you know, maybe 5 or 6 times, sometimes they have these kind of delinquent or abandoned 401ks that are just kind of leaving a trail behind them.
Right.
And so one of the things that people have the ability to do when they switch jobs is to roll the money in that 401k to an IRA or a Roth IRA with a financial advisor.
Okay.
And so that's one of the things that we kind of assess and see if it makes sense for somebody.
Yeah.
Typically, you know, some of the pros are that you get more investment options, which is really nice. Financial advisors kind of have access to really the whole world of investment options. Usually within the 401k, you have maybe 15 or 20 options. It's really nice to be able to work with a financial advisor.
Yeah.
Some of the downsides could be, you know, in a 401k, you might have the ability to take a 401k loan, for example. Within an IRA, you don't have that same ability. And so these are some of the things that we kind of weigh for clients and see if it makes sense for them to roll it or keep it where it's at.
Yeah, and that is good because some people think that you can roll it from one company to another, and you cannot.
So it depends on the company, actually. So some of the 401ks, they'll say, hey, you know, if you have other ones, we'll gladly accept those funds.
Okay.
It kind of depends on the company. And so that's an option that we look at as well. But
What will be a benefit of doing that?
honestly, one of the biggest benefits is just consolidation, right? As opposed to having 4 or 5 accounts out there, you can have them all sort of under one roof, have a cohesive investment strategy there. But that's also where a financial advisor can kind of come in to help with some of that.
Yeah.
But when people are even considering to switch roles, taking a look at some of the benefits within the retirement plan is a helpful thing as well. So I mean, understanding what the employer match schedule is. You know, you might have been getting a really good match at your current company, and maybe a new company that you're thinking about moving to doesn't give quite as good of a match.
Right.
And so it's important to consider all of those factors, not just the salary when you're thinking about switching jobs.
Switching jobs, yeah. And I think that if a company would love to match the full amount of a rollover 401k, come on.
Exactly.
I don't think that happens, but
Right,
that would
right.
be a great incentive. But I wanted to circle back on one thing that you said. So with women being the primary person to switch jobs or doing it more frequently, that's fascinating. Do you know why that is?
I honestly don't know why that's happened. They've just recently kind of started to edge out men in terms of switching roles more frequently. But I know a lot of women have been entering the workforce, sometimes over COVID too. Sometimes moms took kind of the brunt of taking care of some of the kids at home, and so maybe they stepped back from a role and are recently now kind of joining back in and taking a new job. So that could be one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, there's so many things to consider when you're taking a new job. The retirement plan is just one of them. Health insurance benefits is another big thing to take a look at. I know we've talked about HSAs on here before, and so if you're in a certain type of health insurance program, it's usually a high deductible health plan, you have access to contribute to an HSA. And so all those little factors are things that sometimes people don't even know before they start a job. And, you learn it during kind of your orientation.
Right,
but
that is true.
It's a great thing to be able to ask about ahead of time
Yeah.
and just say, hey, what are the retirement plan benefits? What's kind of the health insurance look like? Do I have a Roth option in my 401k? What's the vesting schedule look like? So
Right.
there's a lot of pieces that can be helpful to kind of go into that decision.
Yeah, that is good. And do you see any other trends happening right now just in the workforce and maybe the types of jobs that people are transitioning into? Because you made a good point that it may be because of an interest that people are changing, or maybe to get a promotion or something like that, they are changing jobs, but really it is to change their finances.
Right.
Right? To increase their income, to have more disposable income, to kind of prepare for what this year has in store.
Yeah, exactly. I think, some of the trends that we've seen is that companies are probably bolstering some of the extra benefits outside of just the salary that they're
Yeah.
offering. And so maybe it's offering more paid vacation time, it's offering a better retirement plan, a better employer match, a shorter vesting schedule, better healthcare benefits. There are all these things that they're kind of trying to incentivize people, or even working from home. That's a huge one where
Yes.
if somebody sees that they have the ability to kind of work remote, that really entices people to kind of have that flexibility. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of changes in the marketplace right now. People are switching jobs at higher rates than almost ever before.
Yeah.
And so it's important to be able to take a look at some of these things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you laid it all out. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
And as you all know, Foster Financial is here to help women plan for their retirement. You can give them a call for your complimentary consultation, and we'll have that phone number listed below, and we'll be right back. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.